Unfortunately, most people just buy the wrong kind of real estate. Again, it's a selfish decision to have a home.
Okay. Most people shouldn't buy a home.
No one should buy a home.
Interesting. Which is the opposite of the American
Homes
dream.
were not built for people. Homes were built for banks. The bank created that product to sell money. You can't just loan people money. You need a product in between. Like when people start really understanding what I'm telling them, they're like, wait, what did he just say? The bank can't lend money for just money. Like you need a reason to borrow money. Oh, you're starting a business. That's a reason, but it's really risky for the bank. What if a bunch of bankers sitting around drinking bourbon? Dude, we need to lend more money. We got to lend money out, man. That's how we make money. We get people to give us $1. We lend it out 9 times. I read that book when I was a kid, man, when I was 16 years old. So we lend it out 9 times. We need something to lend the money on. So back in the 50s, they're like, everybody should have a home. They grinned. Everybody should have a home, right? Oh man, that's pretty good. We should call it something like the American dream. We can't just call it a house, right? Everyone should have one, right? They got the politicians behind it. Yes, everyone should have one. And then what they did was basically those homes were built for banks because who made all the money on the homes? Wasn't even the builder. Certainly wasn't the homeowner. It was always the banks. Colleges was another scheme by the bank.
Okay.
Everyone should have a proper education. But they don't have the money for it. But they should have it. And as they offered debt, as they offered free loans to college students and families, those tuitions went up.
Right. So we've been sold a big old fat lie.
Totally.
And what do people say when you tell them that? You're crushing everything they've been told their whole life. They're like, no, Grant, that's not true. I want to own my home.
Most people are going to write me after this interview and say, can you explain that again? Shouldn't I own my own home? No, you should never own one door.
You're listening to Circle 7 Music.
Everyone wanna just rap nowadays. No content, just crap nowadays. Piercing the lips with tats on their face. Cross on foreheads with a cush gaze. Marley's kills more brain cells. Street doors revolve, makes them stay in cells. No service hours, you're doing dead time in a cellar with a fella with parking fines. What's the world coming to? Not to an end, but an end for those that can't comprehend. Those that can't think or use faculties with no nationality with these casualties. King Alfred plans victims take here like the Jews under Hitler, but vapor. No ashes, calling the masses. No suit, no wake, no funeral, no casket. Beat cops with masks, riot gear tell. 84 prophecy of George Orwell. We're living on an animal farm, can't you see it blatant? Zombies are doctors' patients. True shot takers high off a vaccine. So high thinking liquor is Listerine. Then doing dumb shit, mindset walk like wetwood. No cars around but they rep hoods. Rep big gas but babies get clapped. Not the ones sinning, giving back claps. Not reconstructors changing maps. Or fake governments imposing acts. Or the ones selling horse meat and snacks. In black, it's only darkness, light lacks. Third eye blind, sight lacks. Watch it crash when the empire strikes back.
What's wrong with this world? Many falling down the wrong trail, but all is well. What's wrong with this world? This must be one of the hells that we are serving ourselves. What's wrong with this world? Many falling down the wrong trail, but all is well. What's wrong with this world? This must be one of the hells that we are serving ourselves.
Eternal inflation, the cause of mind devastation. Hear what I'm saying? The problem is based in creating life imitation, only for those that overstand. Let us observe the ancients of Egypt walk lightly, going forward with this book. Symmetry declares I've O2 in air. ET's position, 3 triangles there. Word escape ears, all good already there. A kind man of overstanding is what I share. Let Iron Cheek speak truth from what he teach. Frequency and range, blast out and I'll peak. I left the block physical and now telepathy. Born wisdom, life a game of chess till we free. Life is essence, calculate with care. What's wrong with this world? Survive it if you dare.
What's wrong with this world? Many Many follow down the wrong trail, but all is well. What's wrong with this world? This must be one of the hells that we are sharing ourselves. What's wrong with this world? Many follow down the wrong trail, but all is well. What's wrong with this world? This must be one of the hells that we are sharing ourselves.
Minds lost or gone, don't know where it is. Youth act like animals from being called kids. Guns to their fans said they're shooting off lids, so with heavy metal more louder than Skid Row. Jeans and pants tight with swag like Cisco. Love Punani bad, but where dicks go, get them signed to labels that extort innocence from those innocents and bought, used and abused. Rap game is church. Executives play with balls like Nerf. Stimulating bass chakras, hot like the turf. Soul selling out, not knowing what it's worth. Rich rappers pass, they clutching their purse. Youth lifestyle nowadays in a hearse. Think life's a movie, this ain't Skyfall. Faces were bad, now they tattoo eyeballs. Everybody's piercing, strain of faces. Unconscious more, stop claiming races. Claim a place, don't claim a state. Those are plantations, no frame or base. Disgrace and wonder why we are disgraced. Asking why am I part of this race? That I never win, seems we never won. We fight each other, using their guns. But when they fight, they're using our sons. In wars, never near, always far ones. We'll learn, just need to get scarred ones. From ear to chin, stay out the bin. Stay off the corner, learn the hard way. Real killers don't cross over like Hardaway. Stay off the corner, learn the hard way. Real killers don't cross over like Hardaway.
What's wrong with this world? Many follow down the wrong trail, but all is well. What's wrong with this world? This must be one of the hells that we are sharing ourselves. What's wrong with this world? Many follow down the wrong trail, but all is well. What's wrong with this world? This must be one of the hells that we are sharing ourselves. What's wrong with this world? Many follow down the wrong trail, but all is well. What's wrong with this world? This must be one of the hells that we are sharing ourselves. What's wrong with this world? Many follow down the wrong trail, but all is well. What's wrong with this world? This must be one of the hells that we are sharing ourselves.
Sarcophagus open, red-hooded probe soaking of oils essential, glowing from my mental. Some slide with a coward glide out the temple. Arrogant, egotistical, pseudo-mysticals. Silence from lips, telepathic and graphic. I'm communicating with identified ships, objects flying in zigzag and symmetric patterns. My pyramid core looks like a cavern, spiritual war, reflecting off the raging cauldron water bubbles. No burning wood smell, no heat but cough doubles. No smoke, watching broken puddles. Glass flowing, grass growing, foaming, smoking nozzles. To minds, my words are fossils, colossal. Dirty moors appearing as doubting apostles. Glowing lower chakras, fireflies in bottles. Won't give enough light and minds to get me out the darkness. Spirits around me, soul and heartless. All five senses, shock watching, a walking carcass. Wires poking out from foreheads, blink to answer iPhones. Mouth tubes going through nose to lungs to smoke hydro. I travel so far, chasing a star, dodging comets, zooming past quasars. One time I traveled so far, chasing a star, dodging comets, zooming past quasars. One time I traveled so far, chasing a star, zooming past comets, dodging quasars. One time I traveled so far, chasing a star, zooming past comets, dodging quasars. MC sarcophagus open, from slaves to cyborg psychos, hatching through the door as rage leaks from pores. Black hole, not vinyl, watching it spiral. Disciple of the archetypal, hip-hop revival. Impulses versus suicidal impulses. Bonafide genocide, I'm crucifying vultures, not absorbing into cultures. Burst out like Gamma Bay, I'm like Alhambra days. My they-lit sunglasses are not rapper shades. I'm seeing aliens with locks and turbans, not grays. Floating off the platform, greeting me with Islam gestures. Blue flame corkscrew around scepters, using a portal as an entrance. Galactic world pendants with some solar flare, double helix necklace. Couldn't believe what I'm seeing, I gotta get this. One time I traveled so far, chasing a star, dodging comets, zooming past quasars. One time I traveled so far, chasing a star, dodging comets, zooming past quasars. One time I traveled so far, chasing a star, zooming past comets, dodging quasars. One time I traveled so far, chasing a star, zooming past comets, dodging quasars. My MC sarcophagus open, sitting at the table are ascendant masters, not descendant pastors, telling me about silent brotherhood mysteries. And Drew Ali conquering the 6 degrees, becoming the logos supposed to reteach his stories to get us off the mental slave trees, telling me to study the works, not slander from jerks, conspiring with de facto jurisdictions for perks, taking de jure paperwork to corporate clerks. Be mindful of dirty Moors throwing dirt on your worth. At that time, up stood one of the turban sages, created a timeline in space to show the ages of all the galaxies, universal places of existence, explained from a distance, inner, under, and overwhelmed realms of persistence, indoor bright with the sun's light, moon, wax and wane in my brain, energy gunfights, indoor bright with sun's light, moons, wax and wanes in my brain, energy gunfights. One time I traveled so far, chasing a star, dodging comets, zooming past quasars. One time I traveled so far, chasing a star, dodging comets, zooming past quasars. One time I traveled so far, chasing a star, zooming past comets, dodging quasars. One time I traveled so far, chasing a star, zooming past comets, dodging quasars.
So I did a lecture titled The Moorish Science Temple Exposed as well, where I broke down how he took a lot of his information out of the Aquarian Gospel, hence the Circle 7, according to the Aquarian Gospel, was symbolic to Jesus. So when you see that on the Moorish Science Temple, you know that's coming from religious rhetoric as well. But Noble Drew Ali took the Quran, which was created by the Ku Klux Klan, and he turned it into the Quran with the K, which is still Turkish. And so when you see Moors wear the fez is Turkish, okay? And so the term Moor is not ethnic. It does not denote a population of people. It's a derogatory term, okay, that's being used and was created by Germans, okay, and Slavic Europeans, aka Arabs, to negatively denote as a negative denoting term towards black people. So when you hear somebody say Moor, you might as well hear the N-word, okay? And so the word Moor means stupid, sluggish, dumb. It doesn't mean anything positive. And so for me to give you a perfect example of the way that the word is used, if you ever watched that movie called The Black Knight featuring Martin Lawrence, there's a scene where the white knight comes and he basically sexually harasses the females, and specifically the black female. And when he does, Martin stands up for her. And if you remember, the knight pulls out his sword and he puts it to Martin's face and he says, "Mind your tongue, you Moor, lest I cut it out." And so when he called Martin Lawrence a Moor, he wasn't calling him nothing royal, okay, I can tell you that. And so the movie clearly depicted the understanding and the basis of that word. And so the Moorish Science Temple was not only Freemasonic. You can see it in the Moorish Science Temple newspapers and on a little sovereignty cards. You see the Masonic handshakes. You see the third eye, all of that stuff. They co-opted the Quran from the Ku Klux Klan's Quran, as well as the crescent moon and the star. And the reason I'm bringing them up is because they allegedly practice Islam. And so when you see, and you know the Ku Klux Klan's involvement with Albert Pike and becoming Freemasonic, now you can understand the Nation of Islam's involvement with the Ku Klux Klan, because Freemasons get their doctrine from Luciferianism. And so if you know anything about the Knights of Templar, you know that the Knights of Templar are important because they are the ones who allegedly created the Luciferian doctrine.
This is really interesting, because these guys keep saying that Moor is a name that the Europeans gave us when Dr. Ben said
we were calling ourselves Moors, M-A-U-E-R-S, then M-O-O-R-S.
And these guys constantly call themselves African when Dr. Ben said African is a Greek and Roman name. Well, in the immortal words of Capone Noriega, here's some more irony for you. In Dr. Ben's description of Africa, he says that originally the continent was called Al-Kibulan by its indigenous peoples. So why don't these guys call themselves Al-Kibulanians rather than Africans? Right below the description of Africa is the description of Al-Kibulan. And it reads, the ancient name of Africa by the Moors and Ethiopians. If we combine these two descriptions, we learn that Moors and Ethiopians are indigenous peoples of the continent of Alkebulan, aka Africa. But these brothers constantly say they are not Moors, but Africans, and want to bash us when we say we are Moors, when that actually falls more in line with what Dr. Ben is saying. Now let's go to Dr. Ben's book, Africa, Mother of Western Civilization, and go to page 480. It reads, "It must be remembered that the father of European history, Herodotus, described the originators of the mysteries system as being similar to any of the people called Negroes in the United States of America, or Bantus in the African continent. Even those later on called Moors fit this description." Now this is extremely interesting. Dr. Ben states that even the father of European history says the originators of the mysteries system are similar to the people called Negroes in the United States of America, or Bantus in the African continent. Even those later on called Moors. Bantus are Moors? That falls in line with what this African scholar was saying in this interview.
Seven different groups, which are called subculture groups, and Europeans call them tribes, have the same linkage. They come from the same ancestor. You could link them actually, just like I tried to show in the article about ancient Ingana. If you could see in ancient Ingana, all the so-called tribes, most of them can be traced back to the connection between the Moors and the Hausas. To be sincere with you, the Moors identify themselves, first of all, as Bantu Ethiopians. The Moors identify themselves first of all, as Bantu Ethiopians. The Moors identify themselves, first of all, as Bantu Ethiopians. And secondly, the Moors are dispersed group of Azania. They are found in Ethiopia, if you want it that way. They are found in Ethiopia. They are also found in Nubia. They are also found in Ngana today. Some of them may even be found as far south as Ngangula province. But the Moors, if you study their history very closely, they are mentioned also in the biblical narrative. They are actually in the biblical narrative referred to as Moabites. They were the inhabitants of Canaan.
So, Dr. Ben just said that Negroes of the United States of America, Bantus of Africa, and Moors are all the same people. Which means that the so-called Negroes of the United States of America and Moors are the same people. Which means that the so-called Negroes of the United States of America are Moors, according to Dr. Ben. So when Moorish Master Adept Taj Tariq Bey told this brother on the street that Dr. Ben knew we were Moors, that's what he was talking about, and just echoing what Dr. Ben had written in his books. Now let's go to page 546. It reads, "Western historians continually try to impress everyone that the Moors were an Arab people, carefully forgetting that they were two types of Moors. The African Moors, the first to enter Iberia in 711 CE with Tariq. There were amalgamated African Asian Moors, the offsprings of African and Asian Muslims. The Asians, originally from Arabia and other areas around the Fertile Crescent, entered Iberia 12 years, 723 CE, later. So according to Dr. Ben, there were amalgamated African Asian Moors, the offspring of African and Asian Muslims. The Asians were originally from Arabia and other areas around the Fertile Crescent. So when this brother on the street asked Moorish Master Adept Taj Tariq Bey if Arabs were Moors, And Brother Taj answered, yes, they are amalgamated. That's what he was talking about, and just echoing what Dr. Ben had written in his books. So there you have it. And just to recap, according to Dr. Ben, the African American children's ancestors are Moors, which makes the African American children Moors. And if they are Moors and born in America, that makes them more American/Moorish American. Africans ruled Spain, and the European never gave us the name Moor. We were calling ourselves Moors.
There came a time in 1506, after we lost power in Spain, the Africans ruled Spain from 711. We were calling ourselves Moors.
Today I'm going to be talking about the Olive Oil Edge Control Hair Gel. It says it provides super hold. It's no alcohol in it. It's great for relaxed and natural hair. I'm natural. I haven't had a perm in over 5 years. And one thing I do agree about this product, it does not harden your hair. Meaning the next day when I was doing my hair all over again, it was really easy to comb through. You know how sometimes you'll use a gel and it just hardens your hair and stuff, and leaves like that white flaky residue in your hair. This does not flake. I don't see any white residue or anything. It's actually quite moisturizing to my hair, and I'm gonna show you a clip when I woke up and you can see how my edges look. It wasn't the best slick down, of course, because I was sleeping on it, but as you can see, it's still kind of intact and not all over my head. Okay, so I went ahead and finished my bun, and I just used a drawstring ponytail to create my bun. And if you want to lay down some baby hair at the front, this edge control stuff will really lay it down, because I did it yesterday and it lasted all day. Was no pop-up. I don't have no white residue, as you've seen at the beginning of the next day. But I will be repurchasing this again. I just absolutely love it. Okay guys, so that will conclude my review on this. I hope you guys like, and tell me if you guys tried this and it worked out for you, or if you might try it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
We now return to your regular programming.
Now when you go here to the 33 Degrees of Deception Masonry book, where they interview the 33rd degree Masonry, they ask him what? They say, are the Shriners a part of Masonry? He says yes. The Shrines, whose full name is the Ancient Arabic Order, okay, Nobles of the Mystic Shrine, is a part of the Masonic system. It is the Islamic expression of Freemasonry. The shrine was first organized in New York in 1872. Second question, are these the men who wear the red hats with tassels and glittery decorations? His answer, yes. Now watch this. Here's a fucking Shriner.
My function this evening is rather pleasurable in that my life has been spared to be able to introduce a noted lecturer, Dr. Joseph Ben Yakkerman, who was educated in Brazil, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico. He received his doctorate in cultural anthropology in Cuba and a second doctorate in Moorish history in Spain, in addition to a law degree.
Do y'all, a Moor would have gave me this book and got done telling me I was an Aboriginal, I'd have read this shit and threw this motherfucking book across the street. Listen to this shit. Shh, listen. The secret lessons are for all those who love Jesus and desire to know about his life, works, and teachings. Why the fuck is the Moors subscribing people to Jesus Christ? This whole fucking book. Look at this. Burial. All right? Here we go. Look at that. Jesus and Barabbas. All of these goddamn chapters is about the alleged life of Jesus.
Aramaic looks at life in other ways that are very foreign to a Western way of looking. For instance, Aramaic does not divide life between inner and outer, strictly speaking. The inner world, or what we tend to call our psychology, our own psyche, our prayer life, and our outer world are always linked. In fact, there's no strict separation between them. When Jesus says, again, for instance, as he's quoted to, and I've heard this quoted in many UU churches, when Jesus says the kingdom of heaven is within you, and then in another place it's translated the kingdom of heaven is among you, in both cases he said the same thing in Aramaic, because Aramaic only has one preposition that means both within and among. It was always both. The kingdom is within, the kingdom is among us. And in fact, actually, kingdom was never kingdom. It's the Aramaic word malkuta, which from its gendering is more strictly queendom. So you could say, at least on these surface levels, we haven't really heard Jesus properly. Even queendom or kingdom are not accurate translations of the word malkuta, because what he's speaking about is not some feudalistic dispensation or some new feudal reign that would come where a queen or a king or someone would be ruling over us, but he's talking about malkuta, which in Aramaic means a sense of vision with empowerment. A sense of vision that comes with empowerment, where a whole community receives a vision and then is empowered to make changes both inside, in their inner lives, and outside, in their outer lives. So Jesus says this malkuta, which you're looking for, which you're hoping for, is both within you, it's among you. It's all around you. You just have to allow it to arise and not be looking outside at differences. Likewise, Aramaic and ancient Hebrew before it do not, strictly speaking, divide heaven from earth. Where do we get these ideas? Well, these ideas come from another wonderful person, but someone who has nothing to do with the Middle East, whose name was Plato. Plato and Greek philosophy after Plato very neatly divide our universe between mind, body, soul, spirit, psyche, heaven separate from earth, inside divided from outside, time neatly divided into past, present, and future. Ancient Middle Eastern peoples had none of these concepts. They did not have these ways of dividing life. What tends to have happened then with Jesus' words and his stories, as well as many aspects of his life, is that they have been strained out through a sort of Greek Platonic mindset, instead of being heard with the same sorts of ears that Jesus' listeners originally heard them. Here's one very concrete example, or let's not say concrete, let's say very practical example. Jesus speaks in the canonical Gospels many times about what is translated as Rucha de Kudsha in Aramaic. And sometimes this is translated as Holy Spirit, sometimes translated as Holy Ghost. Rucha means literally in Aramaic breath. And in Aramaic, as well as in Hebrew before it, which has the word ruach, breath is neither simply the air that goes in and out of our lungs, nor is it some non-material reality. It's a connection that we feel, yes, within our bodies, keeps us alive as we breathe, but also it's a way of feeling each other. Rucha is a way of establishing community, as we still find it in many indigenous cultures around the world. For instance, in indigenous Polynesia, where a shared breath in the Maori tradition or the native Hawaiian tradition is a deep sense of communion in you could say, in the clan, in the community. So rucha, a way of saying, you could say, not just my breath, but our breath. Where does my breath begin and your breath begin? Where is the separation? By extension, then, you could say the breath throughout all of Columbus is one breath without separation. And when Jesus speaks about Rucha de Kudsha, he's looking at an even larger picture where there's a breath that is the breath of the whole planet, a sense of the whole planetary community, and even beyond that, that there is you could say, a breath to which all breath returns as it's on its way back to the Holy One, Allah in Jesus' words, which is what is usually translated as God. So in Jesus' way of looking, you could say God, so to speak, although I wouldn't necessarily translate Allah with that word, You could say unity is the big being behind the universe is breathing us, breathing us, breathing us at all times. In breath, out breath. When we cut our breath off and feel that we are the only thing in the universe, only my concerns, only the concerns of my little group, only the concerns of my nationality, then we are not connected to Rucha de Kucha, or holy breath. And hence, Jesus says in the canonical Gospels, if you cut yourself off from holy breath, there's no way to heal that except to start breathing again in the bigger way of feeling. There are some other big differences between an Aramaic way of looking and a Western way of looking, but I'll take just a brief break and perhaps we can experience some of this rucha. Jesus says in the Gospel of John, Allah rucha, which is usually translated as God is a spirit, if you're familiar with your Gospel of John. And so literally, since there are only two words in Aramaic that are staying in the Gospel there, Aramaic doesn't have a being verb, is. It doesn't have a verb that means is, was, or will be. So when you want to put two things together, you simply put them together. Allah, sacred unity, the Holy One, so to speak. Ruha, Allah is breath. God is breath. Unity is breath. The sense of unity is to breathe together. All of these would be different ways of interpreting, of understanding these two words of Jesus in the Gospels. And in a Middle Eastern way of looking, Hebrew, Aramaic, or Arabic, we would take the words that a prophet would say and then look at them in all possible different ways, that each way could have meaning for us at the moment. And if we look at the words, feel the words tomorrow, they may have a slightly different meaning, although all would have this meaning of the connection through breath, through breathing, through our own breathing, to something much larger, to unity and to each other.
What's this fast shit about? Huh? What's this Allah shit about? Because the Quran said the Arab is over me. And if you're wearing a fez, which is created by the goddamn Shriners, which is the Islamic sector of Freemasonry, then you doing his dirty work.
Now let's take a step to think back. Right here. This is a fez, goddammit. This ain't come from no damn Turk for 1400, 1200 BC. This is the Canaanite god by the name of El. By El. El means power, force. That's what El means. You got nothing to do. That is wrong. The R and the L is interchangeable in the ancient Kemetic script. That is wrong. Wrong. The chief of the paramount and the father of the gods worshipped by the Canaanites of Israel. Not only we daggone Moors, we're Israelites, Hebrews, which is the portrait here in gold covering. Right here, excavated at Megiddo, Israel is dated back to 1400 to 1200 BC, way before the Turks stepped on the scene. These cracks are still in the goddamn caves, crawling around on all fours, eating meat, and doing every damn thing unnatural. Right here, when I went to the British Museum in London, this is the pamphlet that I got. What the hell is that on top of his goddamn head? What is that? Come on! Y'all niggas were up here clapping a few minutes ago. I want to hear some clapping now. This thing back 3000 BC. 3000, that ain't no damn cracker. You ain't never seen no cracker with no damn curly ass, nappy ass hair like that. Here go the picture some more.
Black man? Look like one.
You don't think so? We getting ready to find out. We getting ready to find out. This is in your Bible. Nah, that's our Bible. It is the Sun Book. That is the summary of our ancient teachings. The cracker ain't got nothing to do with that. Only thing he did was translate it from out of our original tongue into his language. The teachings are still ours. Get Dr. Pastor Ray Higgins and Oswald Kwesi's tapes on the origin of Freemasonry, as well as also on the origin of civilization. This ain't no joke. I ain't here for no damn games. I'm showing you the truth. This goes back 2300 BC. Before some damn Turks. No Turks rock no damn fezzes. There's an after effect of when we lost consciousness. We got amnesia. You got amnesia now. We all damn had it. We all been Hiram Abiff, knocked in our damn head and laid in the north. You in the north now, called North America. That's where your ass laid now, right now. And it's time to resurrect back at the 90 damn goddamn degrees perpendicular level.
Huh? This why they mad. They mad. Because it's not about the truth getting out. It's about their agenda becoming fucked up. Because I tell you what, right? The Moors tell you what? What do the Moors tell you? Shh. I'm hunting rabbits. I'm hunting rabbits.
I'm gonna catch me a rabbit. Gonna catch me a rabbit. Too bad. Oh well. Say your prayers, Rabbit. Now, wait a minute, Doc. Relax. Now, hold it a minute. Say your prayers, Rabbit. Now, wait a minute, Doc. Relax. Now, hold it a minute.
Don't let these niggas pull you into masonry. I told y'all last year that every last one of these black organizations were founded by Masons. I'm not making this shit up. All of this shit is to pull you right into the lodge.
Make clear that the titles, the pure potentate, sovereign grand commander, belong to us by birth and noble, belong to us by birthright. Now the 3-letter, 4-letter is a political debate within orders, the orders. What I present is the origin of the symbols and the titles and how they relate to us by birthright. By continuing to do that and get that understanding across, that will kill that debate. Because if the claim is that the apron and the titles belong to the orders, the titles don't belong to the orders. The title noble, thank you, brother. Now I'm getting these up now. The title noble. Now, these brothers who are Shriners are nobles by blood. Whether you belong to the shrine or not, you are noble. Whether you belong to the shrine or not, you're noble. Whether you belong to the shrine or not, you're noble. The title nobility is a hereditary birthright title having nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the shrine. I'm saying it that way, brother, because you told me to break it down. Had nothing. The Europeans stole that. And they're claiming that an officer in the shrine is a noble. Shut up, you're a liar.
I'm not playing with y'all niggas. Respect my shit. Respect my shit. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this shit, right? Huh? Watch this. I'm about to cook on you boys. Now, Moors, okay, is always trying to tell you that black don't mean nothing and that you should stop calling yourself black because black is not a nationality, okay? Because black is not a nationality, right? Now watch this. Watch me hit these niggas. These niggas with this work, right? I want to show y'all something. All right? Now, when you look up the basic definition, because I know niggas always want to go into legal definitions and all of that. No, we go into historical definitions. Watch this. Before there was a legal system, okay? The basic definition of a Moor, you see it says a member of the Southwestern African Muslim people of mixed Berber and Arab descent in the 8th century, okay? Arab descent. Are you a fucking Arab? Are you a fucking Arab? Now look at here. See, this is where they try to trick you. It skip over Latin. It don't tell you the Latin definition. It goes straight to Greek, from Greek to Old French to Moor. It skipped Latin. Why is this important? Every translation came through the Latin. Every single translation of every word came through the Latin, family. And so now why is this important? I went and got the Latin translation of the word Moor that they tried to emit from you. Now watch this. Just like Christian comes from the old French word Christian, which means a fool or stupid person, Moor comes from the Latin word moros, which means a stupid person or a heathen. And it was a derogatory term used by Europeans and Germans to speak down on black people. Now, I'd rather be black than be a stupid ass heathen. The fuck is you talking about? I'm going to the etymology right now. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry.
So it makes sense that in cultural genocide, he said that the African American children's ancestors are Moors. Common sense was made before book sense. In addition, Dr. Ben's spelling of Moors, M-A-U-E-R-S, and Moors, M-O-O-R-S, coincide perfectly with Mauritania and Morocco.
We were calling ourselves Moors, M-A-U-E-R-S, then M-O-O-R-S.
1 point for Dr. Ben.
Run it! Huh? I know he wasn't speaking positively about Martin right there. Huh? Run this shit, nigga! Run it! I'm not playing with you niggas! We talking about scholarship. Bring it, then, motherfucker. Bring the scholarship. What? I know he ain't call him a king. I know he ain't say nothing positive to him. He called that nigga a Moor. Huh? And was talking down on him. The fuck out of here.
You feel me? So we got the whole shit twisted because we think it's all about, a lot of people just want to circumvent responsibility. People want a piece of paper that said they ain't got to do nothing. They ain't got to be responsible for their action. That's not what it's about.
What? So let me get this straight, because I'm about to get off this wave now. So the Moors is Aboriginal, Native American, Christian, Islamic Muslims now. And Masons. What? Nigga, I'm till you fucking right I'm turned, nigga. Because I do this shit from right here. We going back to the roots. Shout out motherfucking TIU music in LA. Y'all know I love LA. I love LA. What? Nigga, I'm not playing with y'all. Y'all not gonna walk us. See, with Malcolm X said, when Martin Luther King said we was getting walked into that burning house, he forgot to tell you that burning house was a Masonic lodge. And that's where they taking us. That's where they taking us, family. And I'm not going to let it happen. I'm not going to let it happen. I'm not going to let it happen. I'm not going to let them do us like that. Run that shit. Run that shit. Tell me the word more don't come from Moros. Tell me it don't. That's not indigenous. Your name cannot be fucking Ali Bey. That's Arabic and Turkish. Ain't no fucking Turkish Native Americans. Ain't no goddamn Arabic fucking Aztecs or Taino Indians.
There is another, perhaps even older news report in progress, involving a distinctive but long-forgotten alphabet used on the Arabian Peninsula, and found at Block Rock and elsewhere along the Purgatoire River in southeastern Colorado. Ali Ahmed Ali Ashari is a researcher, writer, and member of an ancient tribe residing in Oman on the southern end of the peninsula. Ali's ancestors cultivated precious frankincense thousands of years ago in the province of Dhofar on the hillsides and mountains surrounding the coastal port of Salalah, a strategic Old World trading hub. Ali has been documenting rock carvings in Dhofar for many years. He spoke enthusiastically about the matching rock art symbols he saw in southeastern Colorado in 2001 when he returned to the state 4 years later.
I came to America. I was invited for 2 days or 3 days by the Brigham Young University people, and I did a lecture there, and I met Philip Leonard, and he took me for about 14 days on his course, on his money, and he did everything for me. So we went to Colorado, and we saw these inscriptions, and I was astonished. It was amazing. It was not unbelievable that you find these inscriptions exactly the same as ours, the same characters, the way that they have written it, and the same way that our people and the people here have done it.
You were astonished by this?
Absolutely. How can I believe that, thousands of kilometers away from our area, that the same people or the same characters being found in here?
Their meaning at this time is unknown, but the set of 33 characters corresponding to the sounds in the Shari language is a near-perfect match. 28 of the sounds correspond to 28 common characters with the Thamudic alphabet, and 4 of the 5 distinctively Dhofari characters are nowhere else to be found outside of Dhofar but on the rocks of southeastern Colorado.
We believe those 5 characters represent the additional 5 sounds in their language. And 4 of those additional characters are perfect matches to 4 extra characters we find here. And the 5th character does not appear to be related.
The implications of these finds are mind-boggling.
By seeing those characters, those inscriptions, the Colorado ones, and see ours, you never think that, these are different.
Look this shit up on your own. Hold on, fam, let me get the book back. If Noble Drew Ali would have walked up on me and told me I was Aboriginal, I would have said, damn, what's your name? Noble Drew Ali. I would have said Ali. Nigga, that shit Arabic.
The overwhelming evidence indicates these were African Muslims carrying this information from across the water. Some of you may be familiar with David McRitchie, Ancient and Modern Britons. Ancient and Modern Britons. David McRitchie was a Scottish historian, writing in the late 19th century. And he wrote that the peoples of ancient America and ancient Egypt were both known to refer to themselves as the children of the sun. Where have we heard that before? The children of the sun. Michael Bradley talked about the children of the sun versus the children of the ice. David McRitchie's a European, saying that even in his view, in his understanding of the historical record, the children of the sun was a reference to both peoples in the Americas and peoples in Egypt.
Tanya, anything?
So we
So we come together, unified, and we always come back together. There are separations. People create animosity amongst us, but it's in Creator's wisdom that we do separate and that we come back together but stronger. So now we create bonds with all the peoples, and we must. It's a trust upon us.
You know, I'm hearing in my head a verse from the Quran that says, you were created in different tribes and nations. لِتَعَارَفُوا, that you should know each other. Verily, the best among you are the ones who have the most consciousness of the one who created you.
That's why Muhammad Ali's name was Muhammad Ali. It's Arabic. I said, well, why you got an Arabic name, my nigga? They're telling me I'm Aboriginal. And that nigga would have been quiet. The fuck is you talking about? But they gonna say we disrespecting the elders. Get your ass out of here with that. Bring your motherfucking research or don't. But I got a duty. Duty to the truth.
So we have, in the 14th century, a West African sailing for the Americas with 2,000 vessels. Obviously, he must have known where he was going. The work of Barry Fell, who's a linguist, shows how the Pima Indians of the Southwest possessed a chant which they just passed down to their children. When this chant was first recorded in 1908 by the Smithsonian Institute, they called it gibberish. One of the earliest recordings that the Smithsonian would take, they called it gibberish. When they played it back in the 1950s, people started to recognize that this gibberish contained Arabic words. So then they listened to it again and realized they were listening to one of Aesop's fables in broken Arabic as part of a Pima Indian chant.
And so you don't really notice it. They're going to send the motherfucking collection plate. The Moors is going to send the motherfucking doctrine and the nationality. Huh? And that's where they getting y'all at. Islam is free masonry. When you hear the word Islam, think of free masonry. Don't think of nothing else.
Okay, I want to ask you. Okay, you say this is their way to take this. What would be the correct way that it could be if it was supposed to go the way we did? I don't know. Give me a hand. For starters, remove the scimitar above the crescent star. Just take this scimitar, move it, and take it off. All right? Just take off the scimitar. That's it. Just take the scimitar off. That's it. Let's take the scimitar. Don't take the scimitar off. Put it in the back. Put the scimitar in the back. Let's remove this. Don't put it. They got it somewhere. They have it in here between the heart. You'll see some is where it's in between the heart, above it. Just remove the scimitar. That's it. And put it in the back. That's it. But this, that's a no-no. It's a no-no. Now, I know our brothers don't know that, but keep in mind the Europeans did this. So don't blame the brothers. Don't blame the brothers, because the brothers didn't do this. The brothers are imitating the Europeans in this. Can I get Armin Ra? Armin Ra. Another question.
On the Shriner hat. The left right here is the Moor hat. The Moor hat is the Shriner hat without any of the glittery decorations on it. And so the Moor hat is the Shriner hat within the black community camouflaged. You see that sword above that pharaoh head? Now let's take a second to realize that the pharaoh is black. And this is why all religions speak down on Egypt. Because they speaking down on the African. The fucking Shriner hat say Islam. According to Islam, the fucking Middle East and the Arab is above all mankind. They got the sword over the black man's head. Took this motherfucking the logo off and just gave you the hat so you wouldn't know it was them. And then they sent these motherfuckers in the black community to get you to subscribe to your own motherfucking enemy.
There's a petroglyph, a glyph, rock carving, in Inyo County, California, which contains the phrase Jesus ben Maria, which translates simply as Jesus, the son of Mary, which is a phrase commonly found in the Quran al-Sharif, or the Quran of Mecca. Barry Fell also informs us of another pre-Columbian Arabic script found in Nevada. The script reads, Shaitan Mahamayan, which means Satan is the font of lies. These scripts, which are found again in the Southwest and in the West, are pointing to this connection to a Muslim or Arabic influence.
Any one of you or anyone you can bring in front of me to prove to me that black is a nationality. One. So what is black? How does Moors being classified as black, what does that do to us politically? That's what the brother was being, all right? What does that mean politically for us? It means you have no standing in law. To have standing in law, all right? To come under constitutional protections, you must what? Have a nationality. Or what you do, but you've been classified. The Europeans or the United States, which is not the name of this country. Brother, tell the people, what is the name of the country that they was born in and they currently live in? Morocco. I'm going to ask you again. What is the name of the country that these people here were born and currently live in? Morocco. All right. Notice he didn't say United States, because that's not a country. It's not a country.
Check this out. He will be a formidable enemy, for he is bound to the continent by heritage. Oh yeah, don't miss that. Yeah, don't miss that. He will be a formidable opponent, enemy, because he is white, bound to this continent by heritage.
Huh? King Tut was how old when he became Pharaoh? I hear you niggas talking about the ancestors talking down on him, so y'all better leave us the fuck alone, talking about some disrespecting elders. I'm Mufasa's son.
There's nothing worse than a slave with an ego. There is nothing worse than a slave with an ego. Nothing worse than a slave with an ego.
And supreme honors to Canaanland Moors, present-day Moorish master adept teachers, in no particular order.